What's up, DAW Nation? My name's Wyatt Troy, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Behind the DAW. In fact, this is a very, very special episode of Behind the DAW. It is the first of its kind, and it very well could be the last of its kind. It's actually all up to you, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. But recently, I had this idea come to me for this type of an episode. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I've been trying to figure out all the details with it. And I think if we figured this out, and if I fully implemented this, it's going to be a gigantic resource to you, DAW Nation, to music producers, to singers, to songwriters, to really just anyone in general, but specifically to you. The reason why and where all this came from was I've recently looked back over what I've been able to accomplish over the last couple of years. And I'm not saying that like it's monumental, but it's pretty notable. I've been able to meet a lot of people, get a lot of stuff done, create a thriving business within the DAW, behind the DAW, on the school base. And, you know, I've been thinking about it. It's like, why has it been like that? Why have I been able to accomplish things that, you know, people that I went to school with, not just like music production school or college in general, but I mean like just like high school, like people I grew up with. I've been able to grow and follow my dream in ways that they're still trying to figure out. And I really want to know why. I really wanted to look back on my life and figure out like what decisions I made, what habits I formed, what things I allowed into my life that are allowing me to be able to experience the things that I've been able to experience. And a concept came to me, and I've kind of danced around it on the podcast before and in my mind, but I've never been able to really say it out loud before. And I would say that one of the reasons why I've been able to have so much success as opposed to other people in our space is because I know how to go out and find information that doesn't necessarily apply to our industry and figure out how to leverage that information into our own industry. To just kind of give you an analogy, imagine if you and I were lumberjacks. It's like the 1700s or 1800s or something like that, right? We're super ripped lumberjacks and we're cutting down trees all day, but our ripped to rich ratio is terrible, right? We're getting paid pennies and it's horrible, right? But what if I looked outside of the lumberjacking industry and I found another industry and I saw what they were doing and I applied what they were doing into the lumberjack industry and, you know, everyone was successful. So like, for example, what if I went and looked at the steamboating industry and it's like, whoa, they have these, you know, basically steam that is running these boats. What if I created a steam kind of tree chopper downer? That way we could automate this, you know, spend way less energy and get way more money. And, you know, basically it's that kind of concept, right? Like going outside of an industry, figuring those things out and then bringing them back and figuring out how to apply what's been going on and apply it within your own industry. And so I thought about that and I was like, dude, I've done that time and time again. One of the reasons why I've been able to move a lot faster than other people is because I saw the potential outside of our industry with social media. So we have all been told some of the greatest lies in history when it comes to social media, when it comes to internet marketing in regards to growing your music. And it blew me away. And the person that really started to point that out for me, that really started to like get the gears turning in my mind was Steven from Cymatics. I remember him saying in a live stream one time that if you want to know how to grow in the music industry and use social media, do not study the music industry. Go outside of the music industry, see what other people are doing and then apply it. And so I did. And the results were unbelievable. I started studying people like Frank Kern, Grant Cardone, Russell Brunson, John Pentherby, you know, people of this nature that really leverage social media, internet marketing to grow a business. And once I learned those tactics and, you know, I'm applying it to what we're doing now, it's like we're growing exponentially. It's insane. And so I kind of focused in on that thing. I focused in on that concept the last couple of weeks. It's like I'm really good at going out and finding information in another industry and figuring out how to apply it in our industry. So where am I going with this? Why am I rambling on about this? The reason why is this. What I'm proposing here is that what if I did this over the course of a month? What if I read a book that I felt had a ton of potential, that I felt like has a bunch of information in it. And basically what I would do over the course of that month, every single week, I would create a podcast episode where I go through and I talk about the concepts that are taught inside of those books, and then how you as a music producer, as a singer, as a songwriter, as a rapper, as a music industry expert can apply those things not only into your career but into your life. Because if I did this, you wouldn't have to waste time, number one, going and finding the books, number two, reading them, and number three, figuring out how you could use it inside of your career. Because that way, when you come listen to Behind the DAW, you would have an enormous amount of value just waiting for you here. You are still going to get the normal Behind the Dot episodes where I invite music producers and singers and songwriters and artists and music industry experts, and I interview them on an emotional, philosophical, artistic, and music business level. You're still going to get that. You are still going to get the 0.5 episodes. So those are the In the Dot episodes where we take the audio from our YouTube series In the Dot, where we invite music producers to dissect their songs in real time, and you're still going to get those. You're still going to get those, so you're still getting the technical knowledge. And then you're going to get this on top of it, where you come here and each week I am going to talk about the concepts that are talked about in these books and how you can apply them, right? So it's kind of like an indirect interview. It's like kind of like I'd be interviewing the author, but I'm kind of not. I'm just going and finding that information and bringing it back to you. So this way, literally when you come to the podcast, you could have the most amount of value possible. This way I can release more regularly so that you get more information more often, and I'm telling you how to apply it. And of course you're going to learn things and be like, well, why is it saying to apply it this way? Well, what if I apply it this way? Which is totally fine. That's absolutely amazing. You know, it's a really good resource. I mean, I wish I had this type of resource just with my own business right now, just to know of resources to go and read and watch and all that kind of stuff, just so that I can keep growing. And so, Daw Nation, this is 100% up to you. I have a lot of other things that I can be doing right now, but I thought this would be a really, really good resource for you. And so if you want me to do this, if you think this sounds like a good idea, if you resonate with this on any level, I want you to let me know. There's a lot of ways you can let me know. You can comment below. If you're on a platform listening to this where you can comment below, you can comment below on this podcast. If you're on like a podcasting app where you can't do that, you can send me a direct message on Instagram at In the Daw Behind the Daw. You can send me an email at wyatt@behindthedaw.net. You can send me a Facebook message with my personal Facebook page. You know, like whatever the method is, I don't really care. I just want to hear from you, because if this is something that could really, really help you, I'm into it. I'm so into it. That's why we started this podcast in the beginning, is just to help you on your path, Daw Nation. And so if this is something that you feel like could even help you a little bit, that even one episode a month could change your life, could put a new perspective into you, then I want you to reach out to me. I want you to comment on this. I want to know what your thoughts is on this. Now, if you don't think if you don't want me to do this, I don't really know why you wouldn't, because number one, it's not costing you any money. It's not costing you any energy. The only energy that you would exert is actually just listening to this. And you can choose what episodes that you want to listen to and what you don't want to listen to. So I don't know why you wouldn't, but for any reason, if you don't want me to do this, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Just let me know, okay? Or maybe if you have another idea that you want me to do, a better idea, I'm into this. I want to hear from you, Daw Nation. So this, Daw Nation, I want you to know, is in your hands. You have the opportunity now to set something in motion that could benefit you for years to come, because there's no end in sight with Behind the Daw. We're going to keep going for as long as I live, and we'll probably just pass it off to someone after that. And so if you want me to do this, again, reach out to me. I want to let you know. So let's give it a test run, Daw Nation. So for the next 2 weeks, right, because we're going to be doing this every single month, and so we have so this is the second to last weekend in September, and then we have the next weekend, which is the last weekend in September, I believe. But basically for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be going over this book that I've been reading recently. It's called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And this book, oh my gosh, holy cow, the motivation and like the sheer grit that you get from this book is unbelievable. Now, I'm not going to go through everything, because again, this would be broken up over the course of 4 weeks, but I am going to go through the things that I found inside of there that like really resonated with me, and that I've been able to find ways to apply to my life, and that I know I can find ways to apply to your life and your career. The first thing that I want to talk about is your viewpoint on success and how you view it. A lot of people in the world, they view success as like, okay, you know, like if I do it, it's just like an added bonus onto my life, right? If I'm a good person and I'm doing good things and all that kind of stuff, and then I have success added onto that, well, high five, that's awesome. I don't agree with that, and neither does Grant Cardone. The way to view success is that it is an obligation, it's a responsibility, it is a moral force that should be guiding your life. The reason why is this: success is a direct indicator of the amount of potential that you are reaching. Basically, the more potential that you reach inside of yourself, the more success you have. Now, success is arbitrary, and I understand that. Different people have different definitions of success and so on and so forth, and that's fine. Most of the time in this book, he's talking about monetary goals. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be like, like your success is that you want to release on X YouTube channel, or that you want to go tour in X country, or you want to collaborate with X person, so on and so forth. You can define success as how you see fit, but do not see it as just something that may or may not come, that you'll be fine with if it shows up and you're fine with it if it doesn't show up. It is an obligation. It is a responsibility. I want you to think about it like that. You have an obligation, a responsibility to the people of this world, to the listeners of your music, to your family, to your friends, to anything like that, to live to your fullest potential. And if you don't live to your fullest potential, you are doing everyone in this world a disservice. Could you imagine some of the most famous people in the world that have just done unearthly amazing things, and they did not live up to the potential for those things to happen? So for the people that are listening to this podcast that are fathers, or for the people that are listening to this podcast, this probably applies more to the people that are listening to this podcast that are mothers. Every single one of those people that have had babies and have had an epidural knows the sheer beauty of that. I don't even, what you call it, a drug procedure? I don't even know what it is. But the amount of pain that is saved, the amount of lives that have been saved because of that thing is unbelievable. Take it from a father of two. Oh my gosh, I am so happy that my wife got an epidural, because the time leading up to that where she didn't have an epidural was horrible for everyone within like a 10-mile radius. It was, oh my gosh, it was horrible. But once that happened, I couldn't believe how grateful I was for the person who came up with an epidural. I have no idea who his name is. We'll call him Phil. Phil, you're an amazing man. Thank you so much, dude. Really, I'm so happy you listen to this podcast. But could you imagine if that guy, I don't even know if that was the fullest of Phil's potential, but could you imagine if he didn't live up to that? If he just decided to smoke weed every weekend and play video games all the time? Could you imagine if he was so scared of success, he was so scared of trying and going out on a limb, all the people that would suffer because of it? Or what about the people that came up with the chickenpox vaccine? What about the shingles vaccine? What about people who came up with freaking seatbelts? What about all these people? These people are living up to their potential. Imagine if they didn't. Imagine if they didn't live up to the potential and they did not see success as an obligation and a responsibility. Now, it's kind of hard right now if you're in the beginning stages of being a music producer, of being an artist, of being a singer, a songwriter, whatever you are. The reason why is because it's all up in the air. You can look at other people's success and be like, I may have that type of success in the future. I may not, it just depends, right? But I can guarantee you, because I literally cannot think of one person in the entire world that could live with this mindset and do everything inside of their power to get success and live up to their potential and it not positively affect other people. I mean, think about it like this. Think about your favorite artist, your favorite producer, your favorite singer, whoever it is, right? Think about the feelings that have come to you because of what that artist did, because they are striving to live up to their fullest potential. Imagine that for a second. Imagine if they didn't, if you didn't have that experience. Of course you would never know. You would never know, obviously, because you never experienced, but imagine you losing that now. How would that make you feel? That would suck. That would really, 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 really suck. But the reality of it is this. There are people out there right now. There are people literally living their lives right now that are not experiencing the benefits and the fruits of you not living up to your potential. Now, that is the reality of every single person on this earth. No one is perfect and no one has fully lived up to their potential, right? We all make mistakes. The only person that could have done that is if someone lived perfectly. So we all have to live with that. But Dawn Nation, you can make dang sure that you can do everything inside of your power to make sure to live up to that potential today. Just to put this into perspective, imagine the things that are most influencing your life right now for the good. Like, I don't know, maybe there's a certain story, a certain book that you're reading right now that's just blowing your way. Maybe there's certain music that you're listening to that's just unbelievable. Maybe there's a person in your life that has really, really helped you beyond belief, beyond anyone else that ever has. Could you imagine that if they had this mindset, if they had the mindset that success is an obligation and a responsibility, that they tried even harder to live up to their potential, could you imagine the things that would have come out from them by now? The thing that you think you love from that person, from that artist, from whoever, maybe it's just a fraction of what they could have done. I mean, I think about this from time to time. It's really quite frustrating, but I kind of understand why they do it at the same time. But like, if you look at Apple, they're probably further along in technology than like basically everyone else in the entire world, but they stifle their potential. They stifle their growth on the grounds of money. They're making too much money just by doing these short-term, small upgrades from piece to piece. Of course, they have the knowledge and the know-how and the resources to blow everyone else out of the water and to progress ridiculously faster. They literally have more cash on hand to spend per year than the US government. Of course they do. They can hire anyone in the world and they can grow exponentially faster. But they don't because of money. Because they're making too much money. Imagine if they didn't. Imagine if that wasn't the case. Imagine if they said, screw that. The money will come, but we want to grow faster than anything. I mean, at this point, we could literally have we could literally be like cyborgs with arms that could like be see-through and that could, have more feeling than any normal human hand could ever have or human arm could ever have. Like, it could literally connect to the internet and like order you food and it'd be unbelievable, right? It'd be just like, we could be there if people lived up to their full potential, but they're not. And so the same concept is this. What are things in your life, Daw Nation, that are keeping you from reaching your full potential? What are they? First off, I would say, do you really have the mindset that success is an obligation? It is a responsibility. You have a responsibility to the human race to do every single thing that you can to make this world better before you head out. Do you believe that? If you don't, I really want to know why. If you have a counter argument to that, which by the way, I'm happy to discuss this. If you have a counter argument to that, I want to know why. Why don't you believe that? And maybe you have a really good point and we can have a really good conversation about this. In fact, I would love to hop on a call with you and record it and release it as a bonus episode. I think that'd be really fantastic. But first and foremost, Daw Nation, success, massive success within the music industry, within your life, within your health, within your spirituality, within your mentality, within whatever aspect of life that you have. It is your obligation, your responsibility to keep going and keep growing, because people will just keep, and not just people, yourself as well, will just keep benefiting from it for generations to come. Do you really want to lay on your deathbed and be like, yeah, I'm about like a B- in my potential? Wouldn't that suck? I feel like laying on your deathbed and being like, dude, I am exhausted. I have given it my all the way up to right now. I feel like that would be the most satisfying and best feeling on earth, that you did everything in your power to grow as fast and as hard as you possibly could. Maybe for you, this means releasing more songs. Maybe for you, this means understanding a certain concept better, certain concepts better. Maybe this means you reaching out to more people to collaborate with them. Maybe this means reaching out to more let me rephrase that. Maybe it means you really learning how to get a super solid release plan going. So every single time you release, it gets better and better and gets out to more and more people. Maybe it means you learning how to write music better. Maybe it means you learning how to write lyrics better in order for you to connect with people more, in order to paint a picture better, in order to resonate with people more. Maybe it means for you to stop wasting your life by drinking and doing drugs on the weekend and focusing on the things that really, really matter. Maybe it means to you getting over some other addiction. Maybe it's pornography. Maybe it's video games. Maybe it's whatever, eating disorder, whatever it is, right? Maybe it's getting over that so that you can really focus on the things that matter and really make an impact in this world. Maybe it's any of those things. Maybe it's all of those things. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's things that I didn't even mention. Only you can really decide that, Daw Nation. But I want you, after you're done listening to this podcast, if you really believe that, I want you to look in the freaking mirror. And I want you to put this kind of side smirk thing on that I got sometimes when I'm like really, really motivated. I want you to put on a side smirk on, and I want you to look in the mirror with absolute, just intense determination to be like, success is my obligation. It is my responsibility. It is not just merely a choice. It is not merely just some decision that I put some arbitrary value to every single day. It is my obligation to do everything I can to reach my fullest potential and to achieve my goals. to really make a massive impact in the world before I head out? Because it is. That's the thing. Because if you don't, you're doing everyone, including yourself and your future family and everyone else on earth, a complete disservice. Because without you living up to your full potential, everyone else will suffer because of it. But if you live up to your full potential, not only just the people that are here right now, but generations after will benefit because of it. So that's the first concept. That's the very first. We haven't even gotten to the second concept yet, okay? But that is the very, very first concept. So the natural question that really comes after that, like, what are some things that I can start implementing literally today to live up to my full potential? And that's where the second concept comes in, which is the biggest mistake that people make in life is not setting goals high enough. The best way that Grant Cardone explains it in this book has to do with this. Of course, like a lot of the things in the book are geared towards financial means, right? So he's in this example, he's talking about money, obviously, but the concept is still there nonetheless. And I can give you some really good examples of people that are implementing exactly what he's talking about. So the concept is this: what if your goal was to make $100,000 a year, but what if you said, no, I don't want to make $100,000 a year. I want to make $1 million a year. Which one of those goals would you rather come up short on? Because even if you hit 100% of the first goal and only 50% of the second goal, you still would have 5 times more money than the first goal. We've been told all throughout our lives, don't set goals too high. Don't be unrealistic. Don't put yourself in a position where you set a goal too high, because if you don't meet it, you're going to be crushed and you're just going to want to give up. Oh my gosh, this makes me sick. This makes me sick so much. The reason why is this: much like the things that we talked about in the last episodes, when it was just me, like in the episode of like, do you have enough time to do music production? And the other episode is like, do you need to move to LA? Is that these things, these distortions are built off half truths. It's true that to the normal eye, certain goals like that may look unrealistic. It's true that if you don't meet your goal, you may become disenchanted. It's true with all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, just because it seems unrealistic and just because it seems like you're not going to be able to accomplish those goals doesn't make it true. Again, we're living up to our potential right now, right? And if we know anything about humanity, the potential of humanity is unbelievable. The things that we can reach and the things that we can do have not been maxed out yet. They have not been maxed out yet. A lot of people think that the pinnacle of humanity has been maxed out. We look at the biggest people in the world, the most successful people in the world, and we assume that they are at the top of humanity, that they're at the pinnacle of humanity. But the reality is that I don't even think they're close. They've only come as far as they've known to come. And so these goals that we make, right? It would make much more sense to make these huge goals, but then to take the massive action that it takes to get there. And even if you don't meet them, it's okay. It's fine. I'm not saying that you should plan for that. I'm not saying that you should, put in the work so you only make it halfway. I'm not trying to say that. In fact, I'd put in the work so you would know that not only would you make it there, that you're probably going to surpass that, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't make those goals. These goals are what would push us beyond anyone, beyond anything that is going on in the music industry right now. Imagine if you had the goal, right? So right now, a realistic goal by standard within the music industry right now, and in particular in electronic music, the kind of standard right now that they say that, like, if you really want to stick out in the music industry and you really, you really want to be seen by people, they say that the standard is that you should release a song every month. Now, someone would say an unrealistic goal, setting it too high, being unrealistic, is to release a song every single week. They say, oh, it's too much. It's just too much work. You're gonna burn out. You're not gonna be able to figure a way. It's just too much. Just don't do it. What about Unlike Pluto? Have you guys ever heard of Unlike Pluto? By the way, he's coming on in the DAW in a couple weeks. Have you heard about him? Because he has released a song every single week for the last 6 months. The dude has grown exponentially. And it's amazing how much attention he's been able to get because of what he's done. Because he said, screw that. I'm gonna go above anyone else right now, and I'm going to figure out a way to crank out songs that I love, that resonate with me, super stupid fast, and I'm going to be doing something that no one else is doing. Because imagine this, Dawn Nation, imagine if you did this, if you set a goal that was 10 times above anyone else, and then you not only met it, but you became acclimated to that goal, that it became the normal to you. It became normal. It felt natural to release a song every single week, to completely finish a song within a week and be able to release it. Imagine that. Imagine that at that point, it's just like, well, shoot, if I feel acclimated to this, if you feel acclimated to that, you will literally feel normal by surpassing everyone. It'd be like sprinting in a race, literally for like an entire marathon, and just being like, this feels really natural to me. I don't know why everyone's so tired. Just like, I feel really good right now. Imagine if you had that. Maybe for you, it's that, okay, my 10x goal is I want it to be natural for me to get like 1 million streams per release. Okay. And you knew what to do. You had the things in mind. You took the proper actions to learn how to do that and to do it, very effectively and very consistently. And it felt natural to you. It wasn't hard anymore after doing it for a while. It's just like, no, I know exactly what to do. I can do this. I can do this in my sleep while I'm sick. Okay. If you had that kind of, I guess you would call like ruggedness, that kind of grit, that kind of skill, if you will, you beat out everyone else in your space. If you are willing to work harder and work smarter than everyone else in your space, you'll win every single time. If you do the things that your competitors are not willing to do, by the way, this is a direct quote from the book. If you are willing to do the things that your competitors are not willing to do, you'll beat them out every single time. And so, Dawn Nation, what are your goals right now? What are your goals right now to grow in music? Is it just to release a song once a month? Because if that's the case, dude, crank it up to 2 songs a month, 4 songs a month, 5 songs. I don't know. Whatever you feel like is right for you, right? Maybe it's, maybe your goal right now is like, okay, I want to collaborate with someone once a quarter, so 4 times a year. Crank that up to 8 times a year. Crank that up to once a month if you wanted to. When you do stuff like this, again, even if you fall short of these new goals, you're still going to surpass your old goals because you're working towards your new goals, which is 10 times the amount of your old goals. So now, but the question is, and something that we need to state very, up front is, you will not be able to accomplish these 10x goals by putting in the same amount of effort that you did when you were just trying to live with your old goals. You are going to have to take massive action. That's a word that he uses in the book a lot. Massive action. Things that every single day that you are not only working hard, you're working hard so that you will one day be able to work smart. Now I have this thing, this isn't from the book, but I just feel like I need to say this. There's 3 types of work. There's no work, there's hard work, and there's smart work. And in that order is the hierarchy. So at the very, very bottom, if you have a chance to not work or to work hard, you always work hard. But if you have the chance to work hard or work smart, you should always work smart. The reason why is because you can get done way faster and way more efficiently if you work smart. But the concept of the hard work is that sometimes you need to go in and do the hard work in order to figure out how to work smart. Okay? And so if you set this goal, understand that it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be easier than the old goals that you had. In fact, you're going to have to put in more time and more effort. But if you become acclimated to working like that, you will beat out everybody, which, by the way, is 100% realistic to expect to acclimate to working that hard. When I was in college, I remember I was one of the most laziest people ever. I'd wake up like at 11 a.m., just kind of goof around, do nothing, right? I was getting like C's and B's in class until one day I was over at a friend's apartment and there was this guy there, and everyone knew this guy as like the hardworking guy. His name was Tim. And Tim was, the dude was like ridiculously hardworking. And I asked him this. I was like, Tim, why are you such a hard worker? And he gave me an awful answer. It kind of helped me find my own answer, but I just want to tell you the answer he told me because it was so bad. I was like, wait, what? And so the answer that he told me was like, Wyatt, every day I wake up and I look myself in the mirror and I remember that series that was on MTV. What was it? It was with Rob and Big, I think it was called. And Big would always say, just do work. And so I look myself in the mirror and I say, do work, son, do work. And I looked at him and I was like, that is some of the stupidest advice I've ever heard in my life. That doesn't, wait, what? But I really thought about it and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But I feel challenged that he is working harder than me. And I was like, and if I did work harder, then I would be able to accomplish the things that I wanted to. And I was like, I really don't like it when I see someone else achieving the things that I know that I can achieve, but I'm not achieving them because I'm working less hard than them. And so that really put me into gear to be able to work harder. So he indirectly helped me, but like that was really some awful advice. Anyways, so where I was going with that is that currently I am acclimated to working hard. All right. I wake up every day and I work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. all day. And then from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., I hang out with my wife and my kids. And then once they go to bed, I work more from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. because I love it. I'm acclimated to this. It's so much fun to me now. Like I love growing a business and getting work done and setting goals and knocking them off the charts and taking massive action, all this kind of stuff. And if you, which by the way, anyone who's listening to this podcast can achieve that, you can acclimate and get into this mindset where it's like success is so much fun and working hard is so much fun because it's about something that you love. By the way, you can do this. Anyone that's listening, anyone that can hear my voice right now, in fact, anyone who can't hear my voice right now can achieve this. It's just, will you put in the work to acclimate to it? Will you? I want you to answer to yourself right now. I know I can't hear, but I want you to really truly answer yourself right now. Answer to yourself right now. Are you willing to put in the work to acclimate to this type of lifestyle? Because if you don't, you will live below your potential. And if you live below your potential, everyone else, I'm just being blunt with you guys, everyone else will suffer because of it. Because they will not be able to reap the benefits of your hard work. But if you do believe that you can achieve this, and if you are willing to put in the work, my gosh, the success that is about to come to you guys, to you, Daw Nation, is unbelievable. Okay? So Daw Nation, this is the first week of, me going through a book and finding things inside of it and bringing it to you. Again, this book was called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And if this really resonated with you, if this really got you pumped, if this really, really motivated you, and you feel like I can keep consistently bringing value to you every single week while still doing all the other things that I promise I do, like a normal Behind the Daw episode with another artist and In the Daw episodes and all that kind of stuff. If you feel like this is really going to help you along your journey, I want to know, because Daw Nation, if I don't hear back from you within 1 week, right? I'm gonna record these every Friday. I'm gonna release them on Mondays. If I don't hear back from you by Friday, I guess that would be September 27th, then this is off the table. Then it's done. I'm just gonna take it as, you know what, that was fun, Wyatt, but I don't want you to do that. Again, I don't know why you wouldn't, but I'll just understand it. It's like that. So Daw Nation, if you want me to keep doing this, going through, finding super valuable information outside there in books and then bringing it back to you and showing you how to apply it exactly into your music career and into your life, I'm into it, Daw Nation. I want to do that for you, all right? But I need to know. So again, if you're on a platform where you can comment below. If you're not on that, if you're like just on like a normal podcasting app, DM me on Instagram and tell me there. Or send me an email at wyatt@inthedaw.net. By the way, I forgot to mention my Instagram handle. It's @inthedaw, behind the daw. Or you can send me a personal message on my personal Facebook. If you have my number, you can text me. Like whatever you want. You can call me if you want. You can literally write me a letter. I don't know if it'll be here by Friday. Depends where you live and whatever. But nonetheless, like however you want to get it to me, I want to know. It's a voting matter now. I'm going to be keeping tally on everyone that says yes and everyone that says no. And so if you want me to do this, Daw Nation, which I am happy to do, this was amazing. I had so much fun doing this. I'm going to be reading those books anyways. If you want me to do this for you, I'm happy to do that. But I just need to know, Daw Nation. I need to know. Because the lineup of books that I have right now, I'm telling you, if we did this every week for the rest of the year, which by the way, I have plans to do it much longer than that. If we did this every week for the rest of the year, by December 31st of 2019, the amount of information, the amount of mental artillery that you would have in order to grow would be unbelievable. Because I have a really, really, really good lineup of books and of content to bring out. But again, it's all up to you, Daw Nation. And so, guys, I want you to know that I love you, and I would not do this unless I loved you. I would not put in this type of time. I would not put in this type of effort. I would not be doing any of this unless I really loved you and I loved what you guys were doing. I believe in you. I know that there are producers out there, that there are singers and songwriters, people in the music industry that are listening to this podcast right now that have every ounce of potential to not only make it inside the music industry, but have the potential to absolutely just floor the industry and take it to all new heights. I have absolute faith in that. And I want you to know that I would not be spending time away from my family. I would not be spending time away from making music. I would not be spending time away from leveraging the precious time that I have on this earth if I truly didn't believe in that, donation. And so I want you to know that I am in this to help you because I feel so convinced that that is one of the reasons why I'm put here. I feel so convinced that I can be one of the catalysts for you to find things in this life that will completely change your life. And I want you to know that I am willing to put in that work, but you have to be willing to show up here and listen and to learn and to apply it. And so, donation, this isn't a passive thing. You can't just listen to this on the way home at gym when you're on a run or whatever. You can't just listen to this when you're doing dishes or anything like that. You have to apply what we're talking about today. And I promise you that as you do that, I testify with all my heart and my soul that as you do that, your life is going to go to all new heights. You're going to experience happiness and peace and motivation and depth and meaning unlike anything that you have ever experienced in your entire life. When you start applying what has been taught here and you really move forward. I promise that with all my heart and soul, donation. Money back guaranteed, all right? You guys are family to me, and I'm going to do everything in my power to take care of you. I'm going to keep coming up with ideas to make Behind the DAW better, to make In the DAW better, to make our courses better, to make everything better, and anything I can do to help you guys out. Because I freaking believe in you. And I refuse for you to go through the exact same pain that I have went through with all of the greatest lies ever told inside of the music industry. I refuse it. Wow, I got really emotional there. I got really intense. So I both apologize and don't apologize at the same time. So, donation, if this episode really resonated with you, again, I know I'm going to be getting, DMs and comments about whether people want me to do this or not, but I more so just want to hear from you. If this resonated with you, if this really hit you hard, then I want to know. I want you to do whatever you need to do. I mean, again, whether it's through comments or DMs or emails or text messages or whatever. I want you to know, guys, I'm here for you. If you don't know that by now, holy crap, pay attention. All right? I am here for you. I want to help you. I want to see you succeed. Okay? I want to help you live up to your fullest potential. Because by you living up to your fullest potential, it's a surefire sign that I know I'm living up to my full potential. So, donation, I hope you have a great start to your week. All right. I know this is coming out on Monday, so I really hope you have a freaking amazing start to your week. I really hope this pumped you up. All right. Donation, have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic week. And I cannot wait to hear back from you. And remember, donation, you have to spend time behind the DAW so that you can freaking crush it when you go in the DAW.